The following is a podcast from a qualified senior care provider heard on the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here again with Tracy Cromwell, author of Your Personal Journey with Food. And we're talking about emotional and physical wellness. And we're very thrilled to have Tracy on the program, a personal friend of mine. And welcome back, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne.
So we've been talking about wellness just overall and how it works. But what do you believe is the biggest impact on someone's health?
Oh my gosh. Biggest impact in someone's health. So many different things can happen to people. And I believe it is how we see the world impacts our health, how we see and our emotional, what's going on behind our
well-being, whether it's
how
good or
we
bad.
look at things. And so in my experience, I would say, and it lines up perfect with our topic, is the way I view things. And when I was younger and how I was brought up and all of that, that sometimes my self-worth, my lack of confidence will impact my health, because then I make decisions based upon that lens.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So yeah.
And obviously you talk in your book a little bit about your body is the number one teammate. Obviously that has to do with your well-being, but it's also how you feel, is it not?
Right. And one thing I realized, because I did have such a hostile relationship with it, again, if it had just been perfect, like everyone in the magazines, then my life would have been just great, and that was sort of where my head was, because I bought into all of that. When I realized it's always doing its best, and it's always, it's all the cells are set to do specific things, and me as the one that gets to live in it, not that it's easy. So I just got to figure out how to drive it. What fuels it the best? What
do you find?
Think best?
This is an out of the blue question.
Okay.
But do you find that a male body needs different types of nutrition than women? Because when I cook for my husband, what I really like and what he really likes are he's the meat and potatoes guy, and I'm like, I'll eat maybe 2 bites of the meat, 2 or 3, give him the other half of whatever it is. I mean, I'll never eat a whole burger. I'll never eat that. That's not my thing, but I love like fresh vegetables and fruits and things like that. But it's frustrating for me as a woman, because I still gain weight and he doesn't. So this is the thing I'm wondering. There's a lot of women out there that I hear the same story from.
Right. So interesting enough. So yes, there's definitely there's differences between a male body and a female body. Absolutely. And basically our programming. But also you can find that, I know a lot of men that are vegan, and they're athletes and so on. And I know a lot of men that are meat and potato, and they do great with meat and potato. I know women that are vegan or vegetarian or meat and potato. So what I learned was, what is your lifestyle? How much activity do you have going on? Like I was just training for a big century ride, right? My food requirements change when I'm in that mode. When I'm not in that mode, my food requirements and what I need to eat are different. And so sometimes you just have to look at what even lifestyle, men, women, but also what does your day look like?
Sure.
What do you like to eat? And then also what might be going on metabolically inside, blood work and all of that. So we can get mad at all the guys, but granted, they do have a little bit easier time than women with certain foods, because we're meant to store, and we bear children, and so we have a little bit different programming. But we can say, what, it's great what works for others, but we just need to say, okay, well, what works for me, and be okay with that.
Yeah.
And not worry about what all the others are doing. So
yeah. And it's nice in the fact that we have so many choices, and there's programs out there that you could, like Fresh Express or things like that. I forget what they're called, but there's so many things that you could actually get healthy meals that you don't have to go through a lot of, planning and shopping, where I think a lot of times that stops people. They're too busy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does take some prep and figuring out what works for you and trying different things. I'll go through different various things. I'm a health coach, a personal trainer. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. Okay. And then it doesn't mean that something's not going to come up in my life that's going to disrupt everything. And then I have to learn how to live in a new environment, a new way of things. As you know, I lost my husband a year ago. And so it was totally disrupt. My whole mojo was just shot to where, and I was fledgling, and I brought up some old habits, and then I was able to catch myself though, and I brought on some new skills because of it, and I brought on new ways of creating my new life. So you can have the best program, the best thing, and you're going along great, and just be ready that anything can happen. And you just got to ebb and tide with life, because it's going to change.
And, talking about coming through grief, again, I've known people that they don't eat a lot of times. I know for me personally, I don't eat when I'm stressed. It's like, or I'll eat like 2 bites of food. I don't even have an interest, but I know that I still need nutrition. I also know that there's people, they don't eat breakfast. And then a lot of people say that's the most important meal of the day. If you're not eating breakfast, you don't kick your metabolism in. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, everyone is different again, and how they address stress. When I'm really busy and things like I don't want to eat either. So I have a little smoothie that I just make, and I can work on that throughout the day if I'm really nervous. I didn't want to eat either when Dave passed. I did notice, however, people were coming over a lot, bringing me wine and bringing me things like that. And also I realized I was having alcohol every day, which makes me more anxious, more sad. Alcohol
is a depressant,
can make you feel so awful later. So I figured that out, and I cut that back. Like, I normally don't drink a lot. And so but yes, everyone processes grief different, stress different. It's respecting what you need to do, and also realizing you're not alone in that. You're not, there's a lot of opportunity for guidance if that's what you need, meditative practices. My biggest advice is not running away from it. When grief comes, process it. When stress comes, you acknowledge it. Don't stuff it.
Yes. And you have, again, to our listeners, go to Amazon. I'm assuming your book is on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, and they can order from their favorite bookstore. So if they want to order
My Personal Journey with Food. And Tracy and I will be right back, everyone, right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.